So, the major events of 1937, as it says here, is the Rome-Berlin Axis announced. So, that would be Italy and Germany. Soviet high command was purged. The Sino-Japanese War resumes. The Indian National Congress wins elections. Japan sinks American gunboat Panay. I didn't know. So I guess there was some tensions leading up to the whole deal. Royal Commission calls for the partition of Palestine. Third Neutrality Act. I don't know what a lot of this stuff is. God, there's been so much. Detroit Red Wings won the Stanley Cup that year. Pittsburgh NCAA champs. Heisman Trophy winner was Clinton Frank. I don't know who any of these people are. Oh, check this out. 1937 was the year the Hidenburg blows up. Do we know what the Hidenburg is, kids? So let me show you what the Hidenburg was. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not saying anything wrong. My wife knows this stuff really well. But the Hidenburg was a dirigible. It was a big-ass hot air balloon. And it is my understanding that they used hydrogen instead of helium or whatever else they use now. Which I think it might still be helium or some sort of mix. And then it exploded. That was the Hidenburg, right? Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. Is that where the phrase "oh, the humanity" came from? We're going to learn a whole lot. So this is a YouTube channel because YouTube is great. Let's watch this together. And Gabriel... Oh, no, you can't see the screen. There you go. Gabriel, if you're watching this later, and I know you like history, buddy... 1937. Oh, we gotta hit play, don't we? The airship LZ-129 Hindenburger was coming into land. As disaster unfolded, he would record some of the famous audio.
It's starting to rain again. The rain had cracked up a little bit.
So, like I said, a big-ass hot air balloon.
Holding it just enough to keep it from... It bursts into flames. Get it started. It's fighting, and it's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh, my. Get
Real
out of the
life,
way,
man.
It's bursting into flames, and it's falling on the morning fast, and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the frame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the families.
There's the line.
Screaming around it. I told you, I can't even talk to people. There's friends around there.
Wow.
Oh.
God, that poor guy.
Honest, it just laid down massive smoking wreckage. And everybody can't hardly breathe and talk and screaming. Lady, I'm sorry. Honestly, I can hardly breathe. I'm going to step inside while I cannot see it.
Jeez. So, I don't think those people made it. Unfortunately, they did all die. Which is kind of a bummer. So what else we got? We got, what else happened in 1937? God, I love the internet. Who doesn't love the internet? It's like Star Trek, you know what I mean? So the Neutrality Act, which causes extending the U.S. Neutrality Acts towards civil wars. Hindenburg. Let's see if there's anything else that really stands out to us. Revolt in Japan. An uprising was staged by young Japanese military officers. The mutineers managed to assassinate Japanese Finance Minister Takahashi Korekiyo. The officers held Tokyo for 3 days. But the rebellion was ultimately put down, and 17 of the rebel leaders were sentenced to death. That's what happens Weird to be reading that today. Brazil had kind of their January 6th moment. I know a lot of people are covering that. I don't know if I'm going to be a guy that covers the news like that. I kind of want to stick to stuff. But oh wow, oil found in Saudi Arabia. Gosh, it's not quite 100 years, but like 85 years, and yeah, that changed the world for them, didn't it? Interesting. Okay, so that's kind of what the deal is with some of the history. So can we, it's always nice to know kind of the context of what's going on. So, and if you are just joining us, thank you for joining us. If you are one of my kids who watch this later on, yo. All right, is this the best way to do this? All right, so this magazine is intact, so the chances of me actually ripping some of the pages out is probably not going to happen, but maybe. I mean, I have a price. So basically, I like to look through these things just to kind of see the old art, and if there's any ads that are kind of really neat or worth discussing. What's that say? Maston line. I'm also reading this upside down so you guys can see it. Eventually, I'll flip it. So, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to do it right now. But anyway, super neat. So try not to spend too much time on any one page. This was way more popular. I see that ad all the time. I don't know if that is still a brand. Architecture is always neat. Let's say the plant of tomorrow. I love it. Oh, it's an ad too. I love the 30s, 40s, 50s especially all those cartoons that used to be on. The plant of tomorrow. The kitchen of tomorrow. Do you guys remember Ren and Stimpy? I'm just going to let my ADD kind of run wild, so... Oh man, here we go. This is cool. Let me show you what I'm...
Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, this is your house of tomorrow. Completely prefabricated and ready to set up.
Oh, I don't know if that's loud enough. Hold on.
And there it is, modern in every respect. Why, it even has a separate entrance for each member of the family. For Fido, for Junior, for the missus. She just loves sweets.
I think that's just so neat.
And an entrance for the mother-in-law.
The home of tomorrow will be built around the television set.
Yeah, they weren't wrong, were they? Even though this cartoon's a little bit more modern.
Wonder relieves mother
This is
and
like
dad
Looney
the problem
Tunes
of
time.
answering Junior's many questions.
Why does it rain? How old am I? I want a bicycle. Did the store bring me
Hey
a
Siri,
When do we eat? Is Santa Claus real? Can I go to a show?
Gabriel, that reminds me of you. And that reminds me of how I generally want to respond. I love you, son.
Deep, soft cushions.
No more worrying about repair bills on this model.
That's bullshit. I worry about repair bills all the time.
Satisfied know-it-all. The guest who is convinced he can tune your set better than you can.
There's always that guy. I'm that guy. Don't touch my setup. I'm not going to touch your setup unless you ask. Still don't know if that's quite loud enough. I'm going to turn it up.
This automatic orange juicer removes all the seeds from the juice. Here's a frying pan with a special attachment to keep the bacon from curling up. Just push the button. This modern stove is equipped with a clear view door so you may look into your oven. Yes, sir. Looking through this little window, you can see everything.
Okay.
This advanced model
Hopefully that's
automatically
plenty loud now. I should still be on top of it, though.
passing airplanes.
Okay. That's fun. All right. So the plant of tomorrow. What's that? Synthetic resins. It's so interesting that I guess this is Fortune, so it's a little bit different target market than just like your Life magazine and stuff, because business people are reading this magazine, right? But yeah, like to see that kind of stuff advertised, that's neat. Graphics though, kind of that old vibe, that kind of it's so important. You know, I still see a bunch of these friggin' typewriters everywhere. I actually have one for sale in the booth, or not in the booth, but in the shop, the online shop, as it were. I'll pull that up real quick so you guys can see it. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I have it listed. Anyway, it looks like this. It's a 1943 version. It's got its case. It was found by a good friend of mine, Daniela. She lets me sell things for her on her behalf. Why 100,000 women didn't talk for an hour. Oh, the ads. What's that say? Like mama? Oh, life insurance for fathers. Okay. Thompson valve. The color ones are good. The plastic that's good. First mold. The Maryland. Cognac. Wind of the West. Transportation was a big thing because it was newer back then. Everyone now takes it for granted, but trains were a big deal. That's why you see so many train collectors. Much bigger deal than they are now. Cars wanted. Cars coming right up. Interesting. We'll just keep going. What's that say? Man, they haven't changed that Seagram's bottle forever, have they? Look, I mean, that could be pulled out right now. Again, lots of travel, especially if you had means, right? A lot of industry. Whoop. Discard old ideas about flooring. Do it, discard. Kind of sexy. There you go. It kind of has that Art Deco kind of vibe, even though it's kind of moving out of it, it seems. Even though it's very Art Deco. Anyway. This is what happens. I get trapped in a thought loop. Today, a richer life begins. So far, I've been kind of unimpressed. It's kind of boring. Johnny Walker, still around. Scotch. All right, Dixie. Don't know what that's about. Another typewriter. Again, business people. Business. Let me turn off this Call of Duty. I don't like the audio. Maybe see if I can't find some other audio. Right quick. Do-do-do. Bear with me, children. Party line. What's that? Oh! So is that a phone? That is phone. She's on a phone there, right? So party lines. This is so used to have to pick up a line, and then there would be like a bunch of people on it because they were all connected with how they were routed. So like the whole system was different, and it's interesting that to see it in print like that. I hadn't thought about that in forever. I mean, hell, within even in my own lifetime, you could call. They were usually like 900 number lines, like, ooh, give a hard time. You know, when you're out playing video games to 3 a.m, the commercials get a bit sketchy. They get a bit sketchy, which is why I don't understand why people get so bent out of shape about the stuff they do, as if these kids and stuff haven't been exposed to some of this stuff. I was going to do a review tonight on that book Fun Home by Alison Bechtel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is a cool color red. Ever Ready, that's cool. Flashlight, that's fun. That's fun. What does that say? The rapid electrotype? Emily von Losen, world famous ballerina. Very cool. The mimeograph. What's a mimeograph? Anyway, but and the big issue with the book, I guess, it's a few of the panels have like half naked people in them. And like they're not in the middle of the act of sex or things that lead up to sex. But it's more like to me it had kind of like the vibe of like a married couple chilling out afterwards. Like it was just like it wasn't a big deal. Like yes, they weren't clothed, and yes, it was obvious what they had just done or what they were about to do. I play video games. If you've ever let your kids stay up to like midnight or later, TV gets weird, man. Like they're nothing in that book they haven't seen already. You know what I mean? Unless you've just got them locked down, and then that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, here's a mimeograph. A duplicating machine which produces copies from a stencil, now superseded by the photocopier. So it's just like an old school printing press. It's an old school photocopier you do at home. A mimeograph machine is a low-cost duplicating machine that works by forcing ink through a stencil onto a paper. The print process is called mimeography, which makes sense. Mime, mimic, that kind of thing. And a copy made by the process is a mimeograph. Contemporary use still make and sell highly automated mimeograph-like machines that are externally similar to a photocopier. I wonder if it. I wonder. Because it's all kind of the same. Anyway, just technology. Fun. Over the camera. So the mimeograph. We learned what a mimeograph was. I feel smarter. Atlantic. Sail from the Indies. Again, lots of travel in this one. What I'm kind of bummed out about is the lack of like color ads. And again, this is not very fun. Let's go faster. What's that say? Don't supply your own radiant heat. Goodrich, BF Goodrich, tire guys, I believe. Yep, rubber. Ooh, don't bend it. Railways in France. Your letterhead is the voice of your business. It's interesting because you have emails and stuff now predominantly, and that like your letterhead is the voice of your business. Your subject line is the voice of your business. Like we don't change. Like humans don't change. Just the technology and the chessboard that we're on changes, but like there's so few like original fundamental ideas. Like even with the mimeograph and the photocopier and the digital printers, and it's just the same technology. Ooh, that's cool. That's kind of neat. I like that a lot. $75 million. Anyway, I like that. That's a cool ad. It's a cool ad. Not cool enough to pull out, but we got a little water damage. So that's so funny. Look at this. That's all like ads. Like this whole, and this is the table of contents. So you're like 84 pages in. I can't believe there's no way we went through that many pages. Maybe there's some stuff missing, but table of like your first article is until page 87. Jeez. You can tell we have much shorter attention spans now. Oh, who is that guy? Adolf Zucker, the chairman of board of Paramount Pictures. Oh, I guess that makes sense. That's kind of neat. I always love these little diagrams and stuff. This is neat too. Oh, look at that. That's cool. What is that? Says the Waikiki wedding director Frank Tuttle rehearses Martha Ray just before a take. That's cool. Oh, man. Something like this. Okay, here's the author's name. Sharba? Oh, here you go. George Schreiber is the artist. Gosh. See, now that alone. So what I would do with this is I would take this out. I would go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm going to repair it. That's rad. I'm going to take this out and repair it. George Schreiber. Let's find out who George Schreiber is. What's your deal, George? Georgie boy. George's Schreiber. Oh, he's dead. But I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's 1937. George's Schreiber. Let's just click buttons. Oh, God, I got to remember to do the thing. Also, I want to get rid of my bookmark bar. How do you get rid of your bookmark bar? Not that I care what you see. I just want to see more of the thing. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, let's leave it there. Okay, so wow. Yeah, I like his artwork, man. Kind of, I don't know, for some reason I'm getting like Grapes of Wrath vibes. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but George Schreiber was a well-known American scene painter at the height of his career in the 1930s and 40s, so smack dab in the middle of this. Born in Brussels, which is in Belgium, he did Things, and then he did Other Things. Schreiber contributed his drawings and cartoons to most of New York's daily papers to give himself a basis of support until he found a dealer to represent him. So, like, that would be the equivalent now as an artist, like creating a body of work, right? Getting some professional chops, getting your name out there and all that. And then getting an agent. Right? And getting an agent, like at some point you get an agent. I have never been to that point. I also live in Wentzville in the Midwest. Not that that's an excuse. I don't even know why I said that. I'm terrible. I could do better. After that, his dealers in New York were ACA Galleries and Associated American Artists Gallery. The Stendhal Galleries in Los Angeles also handled his work for many years. Neat. George Schreiber made 6 long trips touring the United States, painting and sketching life from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico and from Maine to Oregon. The paintings capture the characteristics of American in every state. He exhibited these paintings from 1941 to 1945. Schreiber was commissioned by the United States Army and Navy. I want to see more of the guy's work. I want to see the stuff. Available work. Oh, I guess is that the only image that's available? Interesting. Hey, what the Georgie doing? What the Orhe doing? I don't know what that means. But Boneless, thanks for coming in, man, saying hi. Right now we're just kind of ADD and we're looking at old magazines and just kind of seeing where things. Hello. Did you say hello? No, I said hello, but that's close enough. Labyrinth reference. We're looking at a 1937 Fortune magazine, and we're just kind of ADHDing through it and just kind of learning what we learned. We've learned about the Hidenburg, and now we've learned about this author here, or not author, but illustrator. Just a real neat piece. So there's another one. Yeah, man, his work is cool. The colors that I'm seeing here and the colors that you guys are seeing on the screen they're a little more vivid. I'm a little washed out, so I'll have to fix that. Man, but these are neat. So it's crazy to kind of just think about, like, not 100 years ago, but 85 years ago, you know, these are like our stars now, right? So it's just, and I have no idea who these people are, like none. It's just like, Frank Lloyd. I do know Frank Lloyd. Is that the Frank Lloyd? I mean, it's Paramount. So interesting. Some more Schreiber art. That's really cool. British foreign policy. It's so wild to see this stuff and to think about, like, Liz Truss and Boris Johnson and just kind of all the stuff that the UK has been going through, and just, if I were to plop one of these folks into now time, like, I wonder what their opinion would be. I do not know. So 1937, this is pre-World War II, right? World War II started in 1938. When did World War II officially start? Oh, wow, 1939. I was wrong. So this is all the tension and everything. It says here, shadows on the North Sea, a Hitler eye view of Britain. I don't know if that would instill peace in me. Gosh, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy because even in 2022, like, Hitler is still a part of our vernacular and still part of, like, the zeitgeist. And, like, here, it was before he really came to power, right? Like, he was already doing stuff by this time. He fought in World War I and all that. But again, to see it in 1937, before all of these things happen. It's why I love collecting old magazines, because you get to read it in context. Because you know, when you look back at history, you're always like, oh, why, how could they ever let that happen? And well, we can find out. Like, we can go try to understand that, you know, when you're in the thick of things, or you have the fog of war, it's not always so easy to see what's going on. My wife is a huge history nerd. She told me a story that, like, after World War II, they marched the German people through some of the concentration camps because misinformation and stuff was so bad that people even in the town with the camps didn't necessarily know what's going on. But apparently, I think MacArthur was the guy. God, I hope I'm remembering that correctly. He was like, nah, you knew, and we're going to make sure you know. Walk through there, and just different time. It's just crazy to that we're 2022. We're having, I don't think we're like WW2 times now. I'm not saying that, but just even that we can even as humans go back to anything that might even remotely look like that is just mind-boggling to me. You know what I mean? So again, more of this art. I'm digging the vibe. Da-da-da. About halfway through this magazine. What is that? Oh, that's it says here the alpha ray of radium. So I guess this was the 1937 version of a hazmat suit. So I do know that there's something called the Radium Girls, which is pretty wild stuff because they didn't totally understand that some of the stuff was bad. You know, they really liked all that radioactive stuff. Radium. I'm looking it up on the tubes. There is a movie out. It was based on 2022. Or excuse me, came out in 2020. That's too long. You know what? We'll play this trailer. I wonder if this is correct.
Hi, dropshippers.
Hold on. Switch the screen. Do-do. Apologize.
It's
for
time to
YouTube's
focus
ad. I
on
need
what
to play
you
for
do
YouTube
best.
Premium, but
So go to
probably not going to.
wix.com/dropshipping.
Turn that down a scotch.
Welcome to American Radium. You are paying one
Brutal.
cent
No,
per dial.
don't lick it. Oh,
Your work
stop it.
suffers, Miss Cavallo. The 8 looks like a fat toddler.
This
Oh, my
month's
God.
top painter, Josephine Cavallo.
Will you help me practice my feeling spaces? I'm studying. I have to be ready to be discovered and go to Hollywood.
Yeah, not if you're looking radium paint.
I want to find a tomb like Tut's, and I'm an archaeologist.
Oh, you coming in to talk about the radium girls? Oh, I'm just kind of ADD and it's kind of fun.
Joe, will you be ready in 5 minutes? Joe?
My wife came in
Joe,
and
come
said
in,
hello.
please. Joe? I don't know what's wrong with her.
I'm dizzy.
She's got radium poisoning.
I lost a tooth and 2 others are loose. Do you know what's wrong with me?
Absolutely nothing. You're healthy as a horse.
Liar!
American Radium, the dial painters.
Oh, sorry about that feedback.
Believe that exposure to radium can cause devastating tissue damage.
Radium is good for you. Everyone knows
No,
that.
it's not. It's
What does
radioactive.
this mean for us?
You take American Radium down.
Yeah.
There's a doctor that can test if your bones are radioactive.
Bessie, you sound crazy. I'm not losing my job over this.
Oh, girl.
I'm not going back in there.
I
Looking
wouldn't.
for Bessie and Josephine Cavallo. They did a study. Here's her.
They own it.
Own research.
That's absurd. It's like owning gravity. American
Oh,
Radium
that's that girl
is
from,
denying
The
the
Boys.
harmful effects of radium.
All they have to do is run out the clock.
They could
Yep.
drag this out for years.
Because they don't give a shit. 100 years
You'll
later,
never
and
win.
it's still the same. It's so sad.
Doing it no matter what.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Everyone put down your brushes. Radium is poison. Bessie, you're trespassing. I won't abandon you.
Oh, girl.
They're trying to
Save 'em!
silence you. They must be stopped.
Oh, I love those vintage cameras. God, that poor woman.
I am going to make American Radium pay for what they've done. Get Joe out of here right now.
For money. For money. For money. For money. For money. Anyway, so if you didn't quite catch what was happening there, basically the gist is they would use radium to paint. They use it as a base for paint. I actually have some products that were used with either uranium or radium or cadmium. I don't know if you guys... let me turn on the overhead again. Actually, let's do this one. Steve the book guy. I forgot to put that in there. So, like, this glass, it has... I don't have my black light or else I would show you. But it'll actually glow green. It has uranium inside the mixture in the glass when they mixed it. So it was used quite a bit. They legitimately thought it was like this new age, magical, glowy, awesome thing. Because when you run it over a UV light, and even in certain daylight situations, even though I don't quite understand the physics on that one, it'll glow bright green. And but these poor girls, they were taking the raw paint, the raw radium, and they would lick it. Dude, they would lick it, and then they would draw. And the reason why they would lick the brush tips was to smooth it out, so they could write, fine tipped and so on and so forth. And just sad. And they would their faces rotted off, and all sorts of stuff. And we did that. We did that here in the States, history. There's a book I sold recently. Look what they did. Look at this. They would lick it, right here. She's licking the brush. And then their face would rot off. This is probably too much for Twitch, but it's just so sad. So sad. And this was the stuff. They thought it was just cool. Just... anyway, moving on. Sad stuff. So don't lick radium. That's the takeaway. I love these old school diagrams. A 150 train shrinking 100. Anyway. Trains, 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 trains. What's that say? Distribution of consumer cooperatives. Meh. It's kind of neat. Like these old photos and stuff. These, you know, if you find the actual photo, like they love it when you have this kind of advertising and stuff on it. So it's super neat. I always like the fashion too. You know, like the slicked back hair, all the clothes fit. I like it. What's it say? What's it say? Oh, Rubicam. Okay, I thought it said Radium. I was like, no, we were just talking about that. Even though this was sometime afterwards. I think that the Radium stuff was in the 20s, I believe. Gosh, jeez. It's terrible what they did to those women. Artists prefer Northern Light. I guess. High scoring hockey. More British foreign policy. Again, this magazine, it's really interesting. It's just like now. Each magazine, there's, you know, different strokes for different folks, right? So, you have magazines that are targeted, and I believe this one is targeted more for like business, and so it's a little drier. The ads aren't nearly as fun. It's just real conservative and kind of stuffy. But if you had money, this is what you read. Climax molybdenum. I don't know. Don't care. Oh, it's a cool ad. It's a real cool ad. You know, the cars. That was because like pretty much like the 30s, they were like they all kind of looked like that. There was some, of course, some variedness, but another cool ad. Vapor vacuum sealing. Still kind of boring though, I guess. Let's say the thrifty French learned long ago. The thrifty French learned long ago to build beautifully and economically with concrete. Yeah, you're not seeing a lot of concrete ads in like Life magazine and stuff. Business starves without its daily supply of figures. Sell that to an accountant or something. I do love the design style, kind of the Art Deco, minimalist. This looks like Grecian almost. Fat 69. I wonder when that not to be gross or a child, but like 69ing. I wonder if that was a thing. Because like generally now you don't see that number in ads because of the connotation. Edison Mazda lamps. What the hell are Edison Mazda lamps? When did Edison invent the light bulb? When did Edison invent the light bulb? January 27th, 1880. It's interesting that there's still, I guess it's a style of bulb because they do it now, right? You can go buy Edison bulbs now, but you're not buying the technology. You're buying the style, like how it looks. I wonder if the same, again, this is about the third or fourth Underwood ad in here. You'll want to make something of it. Again, plastic. Celluloid. Celluloid was used on a ton of products back then, and it's somewhat collectible. There's a lot. Ooh, that's a nice double spread. Who serves progress? Who serves progress serves America. Brr. Produce. Commercialism. Brr. They're not worthwhile unless you're making stuff. So, like, the sentiment has been around for a while. I do kind of balk like that. I don't think people should necessarily find their value in the value that they output. Not to say that you can't. I just don't think you should find your totality of your value there. This is kind of neat. To my employer, I kind of read this, but I want to read this because of all the anti-work stuff going on. It says, to my employer on trimming operating costs. To me, savings are the same as profit, and plenty of profit can be made right in our department. Oh, it's just saying switch goods. I thought it was going to be... something else, but it wasn't. Is that still centered up there? Yeah, 69. That's what I'm saying. Like, anyway. It is interesting because, like, different societies and different words mean different things. Like, and I'm not being ignorant when I say this, but like the word fag means something different in other parts of the country. It means cigarette. The word gay was used in the 40s and 50s all of the time, and it simply meant happy. And it's interesting, the etymological change of words over time. And so it's always interesting, like at what moment did 69 mean what we think it means, you know? And, so, but it's also like, can you judge folks for the colloquialism? And yes, you can. Of course you can, right? Wrong is wrong is wrong. But like, I think at the same time, we also have to acknowledge that I don't know. I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say. This is a cool ad. Grandfather clocks. But it's tough. Like, I think you just have to take, when passing judgment on folks, you kind of have to take everything in context, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, do people actually have the capacity to understand what they're doing is wrong? But then you say that out loud, then you're like, of course they do. I don't know. Fortunately, the only person I have to worry about is me. So, it's a little Thomas Edison stuff going on over here. Westinghouse, huge company back in the day. They might still be doing stuff now, but I just don't see them as prominent as they have been. Oh yeah, they're still in business. Still in business today. Okay, so they're not necessarily... They did go out of business. When did Westinghouse go out of business? After these purchases, Westinghouse sold off its remaining industrial businesses and blah, 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 blah. In 1997, abandoning its own well-corporate name, Westinghouse in 1997 renamed itself the CBS Corporation. You know, maybe I don't know. Westinghouse sold off its remaining industrial businesses in order to focus entirely on television and radio broadcasting and programming. I had no idea that Westinghouse was old school CBS. Learn something every day. Yeah, 69ing late 1800. I don't know, man. 2020 pins. What? Huh, that's fun. I do like the World of Tomorrow stuff. I do think that's neat. Like, were they close? Did they get it? Did they have more faith in us than maybe maybe they should have, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I know. It's always interesting depending on which author you're reading at the time. Because like you read Ray Bradbury and some of his novels are like, oh, we missed it so bad. And then some of his other novels are like, oh, yay, we're great. Who knows? Boneless Big Heart says, are they the TV station that owned everything back in the day before the government made them break up? Maybe. Let's look it up. Did CBS get broken up by the government? I mean, I know like certain companies have monopolies, like Standard Oil, right? And I wonder if like Rockefeller, was he not Rockefeller? Who is the train guy? I can't remember. So CBS merged with Viacom in 2019. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I don't know. I don't remember there being a station like that. Let me look it up a different way. Like I know Ma Bell or Southwestern Bell got broken up, but that wasn't because of TV, was it? Was there a TV organization that was broken up by the government? The FCC. So yeah, here it is. They broke up the Bell system. So the Communications Act of 1934, which is really close to when this was published, I say close, 3 years, which is, not much now, forever then, but, as you think about, it's 2022 now, 2019 was pre-pandemic, so like, I don't know. Yeah, but I wonder, the FCC was made for a reason, right? Like maybe one single. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. The 19th addressing the issues of common carriers. It drew upon. Here it is. This might be what you're referencing. The statute recognized in large measure as de facto a regulated monopoly that American Telephone and Telegraph, AT&T, had established as early as 1913 when it gained government approval to offer the majority of national telephone. Oh, so that's more telephone than TV. I don't know. The fairness doctrine evolved from the act as a public service by requiring broadcasters to air programming on controversial topics and to provide equal time to candidates for political office. Although they act... Oh, maybe this is what you're talking about. 1941, the FCC asserted the power of I guess it's doing this. To regulate relations. Yeah, I don't know. Even though I've said that like 3 times, and then I'll probably go try to look it up some more. What do we got here? This is Mutual Broadcasting System. Oh, and these are vacuum tubes. So are they selling vacuum tubes? I guess. Anyway. National Steel. That's another big company that you don't hear too much about. Parade of the Valves. Hercules Engineering. This is a cool ad. I like this ad. Again, it's just all about the art. Design. I'm also kind of remembered, I don't know if you remember the movie Judge Dredd, not the new one, not the one with Carl Urban, not Judge Dredd. The other one was Stallone that came out. Not Judge Dredd. It's funny. Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes. Yeah. And then time had passed, and then I'll pull up that scene. I like that scene. Even with chickenpox. Demolition Man. Advertisements. I wonder if that'll give me what I want. Oh, yeah. Okay, here it is.
Spectrum Business.
I like this one. Da-da-da.
This is the no-nonsense way for your business to stay connected. Get the fastest internet speeds in the nation.
I love this movie.
You seem very much alone, John.
So, context first, not ruining everything. John Spartan, Sylvester Stallone. He was framed for a crime that he says he didn't commit, and he was frozen for a bajillion years. Think Captain America. So a bad guy gets loose, which is played by Wesley Snipes, So they can't catch him. Like, society has changed and they're just not equipped to deal with this guy, with Wesley Snipes' character. So they unfreeze John Spartan. He obviously, again, think Captain America when he's first unfrozen in the 21st century or 20th century. And he has a moment. Like, he's kind of like he's freaking out. So Sandra Bullock's character, and I can't remember the other actor's name, but they're trying to make him feel better. And this is they're acknowledging that he's struggling. So here's the scene. 40 more seconds.
But things aren't all that different. Perhaps you'd like to hear an oldies station. Oldies?
Oldies?
Oh, what a relief!
Oh, this is the most popular station in town. Wall-to-wall mini-tunes. You call them commercials.
Commercials. Mini-tunes.
We've all been waiting for. The #1 request of the day. Armor hot dogs.
Kids eat Armor hot dogs.
Oh, wow. This is my fave.
Even kids with chicken pox, hot dogs. Armor hot dogs.
The dogs kids love to buy.
What he says there, if I remember correctly, he says, "Put me back in the fridge." And this is the fridge. This is
Fellow greetings,
this
Gordon
is
William Smithers.
Be well, Lieutenant.
Anyway, if you've not seen that movie, good movie. I recommend. Cutler hammer motor control. That's neat. I think we're at the end of this page. Phone. Look at them phone rates. I know you can't really see them, but the Lincoln. That's a cool car. That's the last page. Lucky Strike. Look at that microphone. CBS microphone. That microphone's probably worth like hundreds of dollars. Let me look it up. I like looking stuff up. So we're going to go to eBay. The eBays. The Bay of the E. We're going to type in CBS vintage microphone. And we're going to hit. There it is. So we're looking for this one. Yeah, vintage microphones are crazy collectible. What is this about? Oh, it's a keychain. Oh, I don't see it. I don't see that particular model. Sold items. Look at that. That's cool. So these would have been like the one, yeah, for the flag and the desk. They would have been a newsstand or like at a podium. I don't see this one. Or the one we were looking at on the magazine. That's cool. I have no idea. One day I'm going to learn how the physics of how these work. But I tell you what, these microphones are cool though, because what people will do, like certain musical artists and whatnot, because each microphone will, from a science standpoint, will manipulate the waveform in different ways. And sometimes you just can't reproduce the sound in any other way. There's a lot that you can do digitally, and there's a lot that you can do to manipulate it afterwards. But just a recent example, like Billie Eilish, for example, she's on record saying that she uses a particular mic brand because of her particular style of vocals. It just works for her. So it's crazy. Like, I'll go buy a box of old microphones and like 9 of them will be worthless, and then like the one is like super famous because some random singer made it famous 25 years ago, and now so it's just neat. Like as a person who's not in that world, it's just neat to know that exists. Like, there's that story within that industry. Like, oh, this mic is great because, this industry titan that I've never heard of, that mainstream people who aren't in that industry have heard of, has had this, then I get to go on a nerd trip and learn about a bunch of shit for a while. So it's neat. So what time is it? Yeah, I really do like the old radio shows. Boneless Big Heart, for those who might watch this later on another platform, he says, or she says, I don't know. Anyway, we need to bring back old time radio shows with like the cultural prevalence of voice actors. I think it would be cool. I mean, I think we need to make cool things cool again, like nerd stuff. Like not even nerd stuff, but you go through these old magazines and God, I sound like an old fuddy-dud, but like life was different. It was slower. People valued different things, and I'm not saying I want to discard the now. Like there's great value in the things that the now times bring to the table. But you know what? I wish people would sit around and read a few more books, or go watch these plays, or find out more about this art. But people don't, because they're just not interested in it. And there are people they can be interested in whatever they want. I just wish as a society we would find these things more interesting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because then plus they give people more an opportunity to express themselves, because people would be more inclined to consume different and more kind of things. I think Twitch and YouTube in a lot of ways is kind of democratizing that. Because here I am, some random guy from the Midwest sitting in his basement, surrounded by old random stuff that I've found. And like Boneless, for example, like I don't know what your story is, but I mean, ships passing at night, we just happen to be in the same place at the same time. And I just think all that stuff's really neat. So let me grab another magazine. Midwest gang, right? Are you from out here too? I'm St. Louis area myself. we live life a little slower than most of the country. If you're from here, you totally get it. So Indianapolis, yeah, I've been to Indianapolis. I used to in another life I was a photographer, and well, I still am. It's not something like you stop being, but I used to go to Indy all the time. There was one of the gals that we worked with, Jeanette Lee. She's a famous pool player. I used to go out. I guess it was right out of Indianapolis, but we would usually go there. We would photograph her and do that thing, and then sometimes, I guess it was just the one time we would try to catch some food or something in Indianapolis. Cool town. I had a great time every time I was there. I think it's only about a 4 or 5 hour drive. Just blast through Illinois, which is like all flat. Anyway, so this magazine is a Time magazine. This is actually it's from my wife's personal collection, but she's focusing on more specific things. And Russian cosmonauts are not it. But August 24th, 1962 is this. Let me. That doesn't want to move. So I was going to zoom in, but I guess I'm not. Oh, I guess I am. Sorry about that. All right, let me. Still haven't quite dialed my setup in, but we'll get there. I'm trying for like every stream to improve like one thing at a time. I just added, what did I just add? I added on this last one, I added the lower third. I'm getting there. Anyway. Let's go that way with it. All right. So Time. Give that a little headroom. Yeah, cool. All right, neat. That works. Works good enough. Good enough. Let's actually move me down in the corner. And then let's just get rid of this for now. Okay, hopefully you can see that a little bit better. Or a little worse. Or maybe I put myself over there. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Let's go through the magazine. Payrolls, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully this was a little bit less businessy than the last one. Got a lot to carry. Oh, it's a old school Volkswagen. The presidency. So this was during the space race, which was all the rage during the 60s. Who was going to get there first? It's kind of it's interesting to me, like this ongoing saga of this thing going on with like Russia and stuff, because we've always been at odds with Russia, like always. And I find it interesting that sometimes people forget that our history with Russia, and that it's gotten worse. It's kind of neat. The Mont Blanc tunnel. Good Goodyear ad there. What's that? New Stouffer's. I think everyone grew up with that. They're still around. They're still doing the exact same thing. And their packaging looks not the same, but not too terribly far off. What's this guy doing? So what was going on in 1962? Is that Vietnam? Or were we in the Korean War in 62? What war? Isn't that sad to be able to... What war were we in? We're always in a war. Which war was it? In the 1960s. So I'm looking on the internets. So we were in the Vietnam War. I couldn't remember. I always get the Korean War and the Vietnam War like timelines mixed up. So maybe the Korean War was in the 50s. When was the Korean War? Yeah. Okay. So the Korean War was June 25th, 1950 to 53. So that was 10 years before Vietnam. So this is smack dab. When was the Vietnam War? Oh, wow. Okay. Man, that lasted that long? Part of me thinks I knew this, but part of me thinks I get surprised about it every time. I did not at first I did not realize it started in the 50s, and I sure shit didn't realize it went all the way to this. That's 20 years. And that's not like Afghanistan. We had like boots on the ground. No wonder people get pissed off. When did the U.S. send troops to Vietnam? 65. So 10 years in, right? Yeah, 10 years in. Interesting. Yeah, you can't have war without America. That's true. You're not wrong. It's like our hobby. Makes me sad, man. Makes me sad. Like, I understand that, like, humans are going to have conflict. I get that. But it just sucks to see normal people just trying to get through the day, and then, and just because people with means can't get their shit together and share resources and, just make sure everyone has enough. We just got to go out, fight and kill. It's just, I don't get it. It's why we don't have aliens. That's my story. That's my joke. I don't know if you've seen that movie Contact, but the movie Contact at the end, it's she's basically told after, building the machine. Now, let me tell you the premise of the movie. The Contact is these nerds are, and Rick and Morty spoofed it. They're listening to radio data and whatnot, and they feel that they're getting communication from aliens, right? And it's a schematic. So they build it. And of course, humans go back and forth, and it's a whole thing, logistics and blah, 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 blah. And so ultimately they build a thing. They use the thing. I want to say it's Jodie Foster. But the main character meets the aliens, and basically the aliens say, nah, y'all ain't there yet. You're getting there, but y'all ain't there yet. And it always kind of stuck with me. I was like, man, with as shitty shit as we do to our own planet and to ourselves and to each other, no wonder we don't have aliens. Like, what do we have to offer other than kaboomy booms and just being a pain in the ass? I'm not saying we're all terrible, but by and large, we're just not there yet. Just not. Lots of typewriters. So many typewriters. The IBM Selectric? That's fun. What's this girl got going on? What does my wife think about my packaging? Is it a play on words in the 60s? This is back to that question about 69ing in the 1800s. Were they also packaging in the 60s? I don't know. I used to have I have a book. I think it's for sale in the shop, called Slang, and it's not a cheap book. And it talks about the etymology of slang words, and I wonder. Let me see if I still got it up here. I do. Yay. I'm going to have to go pull that out. So this is a book I found somewhere. It's called Slang. Today and Yesterday. A History of Slang, a study of present-day slang, American slang, Cockney law, medical, military, slang of the Dominions, which I don't even know what that is, rhyming, slang, and spoonerisms, elaborate and original vocabularies. Did I take a picture of the... Okay, so maybe we could find out. I'll have to go bust this book out. So fun. Some tendencies. Anyway, that's that. Literary criticism, publishing and printing. Yiddish. So, anyway, that's available. I'll have to go pick that up after this. Da-da-da. Modern Living, Smirnoff. That looks yummy. Pool. I haven't been to a pool in so long. This man's plane is scheduled to leave in 5 minutes. Whatever. I used to travel all the time. There's zero chance. Even with first class boarding pass, what do they call it on Southwest? The pre-check, TSA pre-check. 5 minutes. Liar! You lie. Cool art, cool photos. Great lighting. Very neat, very neat. Yeah, do the aliens... Boneless says, we're always at war and everything around us is dead. Do the aliens really want the smoke? Nah, I wouldn't. Like, it just depends on what kind of aliens we end up getting, right? Because, like, you read science fiction, and I read a ton of books, so, like, and we have no idea what, if, how, or anything, right? So anything that we think is just conjecture. But it just depends. I mean, like, are they altruistic? Then maybe they try to help us. If they're practical, maybe they just let us blow ourselves up and just clean up the mess. What would we do given the same set of circumstances? Not just Americans, because Americans would be like, ooh, oil, let me come help you. But like, what would humans do? Like, if for some reason, like we were able to collectively get on the same page and make a decision, and say like there were actual Martians and we had a chance to save them, or take all their stuff, what would we do? I don't know. It would be the debate of there's a Doctor Who episode, and I guess that's not the same. There's a Doctor Who episode where the moon is an egg, and humans, the planet Earth, has to decide whether to blow up the moon, kill this creature, because they don't know if the creature is gonna, wake up and eat the Earth, right? Because sometimes babies wake up and eat shit, and it was a really good episode. And I remember the companion, and I don't remember which companion it was, being left to kind of manage the situation without the doctor's help or input. And I remember the companion not appreciating that. And I think the planet decided to kill the moon, to kill the egg, whatever it was. And then I think the companion itself at the last minute just couldn't do it. And of course, I mean, it's Doctor Who episode, so it worked out fine. The thing ended up being born and like slipped into subspace or flew the opposite direction from the Earth. So my question though is like gravitational pull, but without a moon, things get weird, right? So, but again, I understand that I'm nitpicking a Doctor Who episode based on bad science. So I don't expect anyone to care. But I care, damn it. And if my son watches this later, Gabriel, I know you care. Oh, I just ripped that. Unfortunate. Beechcraft. The world is small when you fly a Beechcraft. So this was kind of a boring issue too. I think the best thing this issue's got going for it is that cover. Just because it's space oriented. So, but what time is it? It's getting pretty late, isn't it? Yeah, it's 9:30. So, Boneless, I appreciate you coming hanging out. You're like my first viewer. So, yay. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do this all the time because it's fun and I get, it's how I relax. So hopefully I bump into you again, and I appreciate you coming to hang out. So I will talk to you soon.